cushion, sipping up on the Alizé. Bad bitches running and grinding, peeping the baller, man. Gold things and gold chain and gold rings. Mean coats and tennis suits and Cardi frames. Two steps, cause players don't really dance. So breaking nigga pocket by checking dice on them dominoes. Making money, cause money is what I comprehend. Sailor Moon, I see you choosing it from your man. Breaking hearts and locking lips, I don't understand. Bro, we came to boogie and sip all over this devil can. Block up at the crib and don't be ringing the phone. Getting loose straight off the henny. My partner's rolling the scope. In the red, test the rose. The steady switching them lanes. Feeling like I'm Tony Montana with diamonds in my chain. Come and lounge at the Players Club. Come get a back rub. Feed up, counting money, see the stacks, bro. Pockets filled with nothing but blues. I'm dropping checks. Bring a bottle where you find the champagne. That's to the neck.
Why is it Baku? Hello, and welcome to the show, question mark. I am so sorry, this is all a mess. I'm trying to actually figure out why I've gotten the races wrong. Did I miss Jeddah? I think I missed Jeddah. Oops. Well, this is going to be annoying. This graphic is completely irrelevant now. Hang on, I need to quickly sort out someone's game crashing. Yeah. And then I'll be right with the pre-show, just without the track stats. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's do the presentation now while I wait. So, hello and welcome to the show. Today we are at Baku, I believe. Actually, I'm very sure because that's what I've been seeing in the background of the F1 game. But beforehand, let's go and talk about the previous week's results at, well, Jeddah. Last week, we had Mr. M winning the race, 1.6 seconds ahead of Striking Chief. Striking Chief coming back with a bit of form compared to, well, previous races. We'll see that in the driver's standings. Welash gaining 12 positions, finishing P3. Mechanic finishing P4, gaining 10 positions, absolute belters. So it was probably quite a chaotic race, considering we have about, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 DNFs last week. So half the grid finished. Maybe it was due to incidents or crashing into a wall. I'm not too sure. But, you know what? That's Jeddah for you. It's a very tight circuit, very twisty circuit. And today we're going to Baku, another very tight-ish circuit, especially with the castle section. But either way, John Hannes finishing P5, good points for him, not much needed points. Chris P6, probably losing it from pole position, I believe. Losing 5 positions in the race. And finally, Bosfeld, last of the runners, P7. Solid points, solid consistent points like he's always had, but it's just not enough. That is last of the finishers. At least he survived. At least he scored points compared to others. As we get to the drivers' standings, we have Wizard with 70 points, staying in the lead. He didn't race last week in Jeddah, but hey, he didn't need to. So did Don Rabico, who didn't race in Jeddah. But John Harness, though, because he raced, jumps Don Rabico in the Drivers' Championship points. He's only 7 points behind Wizards at this moment in time, making the title fight very close, and his defense of his title fight from last season even better. It was a slowish start to the season, but he's coming back. He's coming back. We have Bosfeld, who's in P4 of the Drivers' Championship with 54 points. Striking Chief in P5 after a string of results since Italy. A good string of results. Django, P6, but he hasn't raced since France. Chris in a Red Bull. I do not know when that happened or what changed, but He's in 7th in the Drivers' Championship. He's fighting for 6th in the Drivers' Championship with Django, but I don't think Django is here anyways. So, safe to assume Chris will jump up after this race even more than what he's jumped up now. We have Welash in P8 of the Drivers' standings. Good consistency, good form. It was a bit of a rocky start to the season, but hey, he's got a string of 2 third-place finishes so far. Lebby in P9 with, well, not showing up that much, but he did win China with a mad strategy, but he did DNF in Jeddah. So that's not really ideal for him. Prego, P10. Overall, okay. Buffelsfontein DNF'd last time out, as well as Prego. So, not good showing from him. KQ with 15 points in P13. Not here today, I don't think. Trey as well. I shouldn't have skipped Trey. 18 points. Only has a 2nd place finish to his name. So that's pretty interesting. Keegan, P14. Yeah, he hasn't been showing up. Porthos, 1/10th place finish, and then the rest of DNF. And then I cannot read in my OBS the last few, but we have a Williams who's only done 1 race and DNF'd, and we have Reese who's done most of the calendar until Jeddah, but DNF'd, and then Psycho who's not showed up for a single race. As we get to the Constructors' Championship now, Aston Martin have been dominating still in this Constructors' Championship, not Drivers, I'm sorry. Constructors' Championship, they've been running away with it, but for the P2 spot, Alfa Romeo with 79.5 points, and Red Bull with 78 points. Absolutely nothing in it for the Constructors' Championship. As well as that, Ferrari trailing behind by about 4.5 to 5 points. 4.5 to 5 points? I just couldn't correct. 6.5 to 5 points. Somewhere in that range. From P2 and 3, respectively. Mercedes, they're in their own bubble with 53 points. Alpine F1 team, they're fighting with Haas for the P6 spot in the Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri and Williams and McLaren round off the last 3, all fighting for P8 in the Constructors. Well, they're really close for P8 in the Constructors, but they're not out of touch from P6 in Constructors or even P5. They're not out of touch from Mercedes. Anywho, we're not going to the track guide. We are going straight to the qualifying session. And I need to also check if... Okay, yeah, that's hidden. I need to check if I got a friend request from Welash, because he's disconnected. And unfortunately, there is not anything. Either way, what do we have so far? We have Chris, who's done a 140.901, with Moaz second with a 140.924. John Hannes with a 141 flat, and then Bosfeld with a 141.5 in P4. Dented Skull with a 141.9. Oh, well, actually just on a 141.1. He is back in the session. He didn't need an invite or to add me. Yeah, so Dented with a 141.9. Striking Chief with a 42.3. Temp with a 44.3. Not really great. Buffelsfontein currently on a lap out in the, well, in the castle section. As I'm sorry, I will need to lower my game audio because I can't hear myself. So yeah, Buffelsfontein, the next person to set a lap time. Ema Barbecue or Wizards, currently in the end of Sector 1. We will be watching him very much in a bit, as Buffelsfontein does the purple Sector 2. It's all just a flat-out run to the line now, but he does lift, so does that mean he's running 0-0 wings? We will have to see in the corners later on. But overall, he's got a bunch of top ends, so he's definitely running low downforce, but it's not enough to topple even his teammates, so he gets placed P6. But that's interesting. He's lifting in the flat-out right and left right-hander. Ah well. As we see Wizards now. Unfortunately, for driving in a bit of a flooded house, thanks to Cyclone Freddy. But, you know, he's making it work. He's doing it. He's going to keep trying to increase his gap to John Hannes, or at least mitigate the points lost to John Hannes. As, oh, he just clips the wall. No harm, no foul there. Doesn't barely loses any top end speed, but his throttle is not fully applicated. So he's going to lose quite a bit of time just on straights alone as a result. As across the line, he's done a 42.3. I don't think that's representative of Winsides. He can definitely do better. But his throttle application is very weird. It is very weird. As we go on board with Keegan now, who's on a lap. Who's just exited the castle section. But yeah. Into this awkward downhill left-hander. Barely missing the wall. Very close. It's always very close. But you know what? It's fine. It is perfectly fine. He's getting it away with it scot-free. He goes right flat down to the sector 3 straight. Pretty much the longest straight in the circuit on the calendar, but that's by technicality that it's not. As he puts himself with a 42.348, only 100 faster than his teammate. So Mercedes on pace with each other, but it's not on pace with the rest of the grid at the moment, which is a bit of a sad sight to see for their, well, constructors' hopes. But I mean, I believe it is just Mercedes, Aston, Ferrari, and Red Bull at the moment. No AlphaTauri in sight for their constructors' fights or defenses, which is very sad to see, but it's okay. Stuff like this happens in South Africa. It is load 6, stage 6 load shedding. So not many people can race. Hence, what we have an 11 car grid compared to a 15 car grid. As Chris has done a PB of 40.3, very solid on his behalf. As let's just quickly. Anyways, yeah. So we've Chris, who's done a 40.3, but Bosfeld's just done a 40.9. So far, the competitive times is the 40.9 area. We'll have to see who makes it out on top from that group of cars who are very close to it. But you know what? Mars could probably do a lot better. He most definitely probably could do a lot better, as he's going to start his lap now. DRS wide open for the start of his lap, going up to about 339 kph before he brakes. Third gear into turn 1, full throttle, get as much grip as possible out of turn 1 for the short run into turn 2. Also third gear, don't clip the curb on the inside, but he does. It doesn't upset the car that much, but he can go full throttle, use all the track as possible, keep hugging the wall on the outside, as it's just flat out through the second DRS zone into turn 3. A very nice, very smooth curb on the inside, which he misses. He should be hugging, and uses the track on the outside. Very good. Again, another third gear corner for these two. Into turn 5 and 6 now. A left-right hander. He sticks it in 4th gear. It's very awkward as Bosfeld's crashed out of the session, so we won't be seeing any more times from him, as we're going to be still on Buzz right here. Into turn, I believe, 8, 9, and 10, 11. We're just barely scraping the wall on the castle section. That shouldn't have done any damage to him, though. As, yep, we have Boswell's car on the inside, just despawned. Luckily, we get to see that just in time. But down to this awkward downhill left-hander with an Aston Martin in front of him. Will he be blocking, or will he be accidentally giving a tow? I don't know, but Temp is the next one to die. Wherever that is. I'm not too sure. I believe that was Temp in front of him, just retiring on track. That's odd. I think he might have had to go. As yeah, he's left the session. But either way, going down to the last bit of DRS now for this lap, he pits. So I don't think he's doing an improvement. That was good enough. So he's going to pit and go for a new set of tires and come straight back out. Either way, We have Bottle Fontaine on not on a lap, actually. He's not dumping Eris. Welash, though, he's starting a lap. What's he going to be able to do in that Alpine machine? Braking for T1 now. Hugging the inside, using as much of the outside as possible. Be careful to clip that outside wall as well. There's a bit of the barricade that, well, a bit of the tire barricade that actually clips out there. You could easily hit it, spin it, and just crash your car out. Just like that, if you're not careful. But either way, it's been very, very clean from him. Just breaks a bit too late, and he's aborted the lap. He knows he's messed up. He went a bit too deep into turn 3. So he's going to probably just do a cooldown lap, save fuel if he has to, recharge the ERS, and go again. John Hannes now, on a lap. Going into turn 3, will he do the same mistake as Welash did? No, he doesn't. He does it very cleanly. Right on the inside of the apex into the very much outside. Again, very cleanly into turn 4. What's that? Is that a purple sector 1? Nah, it's not, but he's 2.5 tenths up on his personal best time. But he's done turn 5 and 6 of it awkwardly there. Maybe that exit will be a bit costly to him. Exits are important for this track because it's either you lack braking grip or you lack acceleration grip. Into turn 7, 8, and 9, and 10 now. Oh my god, I'm yawning, I'm apologizing. Very, very fast, but very hard to get right at the same time. As a result of the curbs, you can't really mount them that much. John Hannes mounts the curbs, but it does seem like he still gets away with it. Buffels Fontaine, the next one to die. He dies at turn 6. That is a bit unfortunate from him. As what are we seeing for Sector 2? Purple Sector 2 from John Hannes, 6 tenths up on his personal best time. What is that going to mean for his lap time overall? That would be pretty close to Chris, actually. Will he be able to topple Chris for the time being? And the next thing is, will Chris the best his own time? I'm not too sure, but DRS is wide open for John Hannes. Flat out, 345-ish kph, but it's not enough. 6 tenths and a bit improvement, but he's still 1 tenth off of Chris. But then again, this is a DRS based track. If you stay in DRS, you're pretty much staying with whoever's got the pace in front of you. As was now starting his lap. As actually, hang on, we have Wizards who's going to be ending his lap. Let's go watch what he does, because you know we're getting bored of watching people starting laps. Wizards does a 40.8. That's a more representative time on his behalf, but it's nowhere near the top 2. But what will Maz has? Will Maz set an absolute fly of a lap in the dying stages of quali? 7 seconds to go in this quali session. So this is everyone's last lap at this point. Everyone who's on a lap is, well, on the lap to finish. This will be the final run. It doesn't seem to be a purple sector 1, but it is 2.5 tenths up on his time. Welash has crashed out on the exit of the castle section. This is what Bolsford has done as well. Bit unfortunate. Hopefully they don't do that in the race. You cut that as much as possible, Maz. Thank God that's not an invalidation. That is how you do that corner, though. He's using as much track limits as possible. Keegan has joined. Whoa, that car's on the outside. That is definitely probably hurt Maz's time there, as it didn't despawn in time. But you know what? It's fine. He brakes very nicely there for the downhill left-hander. So what's it going to be? What, the second sector now? He's 4 tenths up. That's not enough, though, to topple Chris. Chris, on the other hand, I don't know what he's doing. He's probably on a lap. But he's trying to send it as much as possible. But I don't think this is going to be enough unless he's got a lot more top-end speed than both John Hannes, Wizards, and Chris. What's it going to be, though? Across the line, it is a 140.404. So that topples John Hannes. It puts a McLaren in between them. Chris is invalidated his time, so he can't even continue. And that is it for qualifying, because Wizards slowed down. He's not on a lap anymore. As he's giving us a bit of burnouts for the show. It's just, what is he doing? What is this guy doing? He is just revving the car neutral. He's giving the audience an absolute... Well, he's giving the audience tinnitus due to how loud these cars are. He almost crashed into the pit entrance. But you know what? That is it for this qualifying session. We have Chris on pole position with a 140.3, Moaz with a 140.4, John Hannes with also a 140.4, Winzard with a 140.8, Bosfeld with a 140.9. Unfortunately, he crashed out. Striking Chief with a 141.1, Welash with a 141.1 as well. Very close between the two. Just only 7,000ths of a second separating them. Dented a tenth behind that, a 141.2. In P8, Buffalo's Fontaine, a 141.7. Keegan with a 42.3. And finally, Temp with a 42.4. That is it for the qualifying session. We're going to have the race very shortly. And yeah. Those are the deltas. It's less than a tenth between Moaz and Chris though. And even closer of a gap between Moaz and John Hannes. It is going to be a very close fight for the win, I believe, if there is no chaos or, well, death, really. This is just a race of survival in the end. There's not much things that happened. Well, that would happen if you don't finish points. As there's a famous saying that goes, if you want to win the race, first you have to finish. And this track is a testament to that. Anyways, 3 seconds, 2 seconds now until we're going to be put onto the grid. Everyone will have to choose their strategies. This will be very interesting, the strategies. But hopefully, even though we have a smaller grid, we will probably have an absolute banger of a race. This track is really good for racing. It's really good for sticking close together as a result of the DRS. And yeah. Let's see what these races will show us today on this very fine evening. Hopefully no one really drops out because of load shedding. Hopefully I don't drop out because of terrible connection or power issues. I've been suffering with that today because of Cyclone Freddy, but it's okay. As now we're going to start in about 25 seconds. What are we going to be seeing for strategy today? If it will show me. There we go. So we have everyone's on medium, so the game's obviously suggesting medium hards. Dented though, opting for soft hards. Ah, here we go, there's the changes. Buffles Fontaine and Bosfeld. Both Ferraris going with hards. Welash going with softs. And that is about it. Okay. As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go, as I believe we have Moaz getting a solid start compared to Chris. Down the inside, will he go? No, he will not go. But we have a Mercedes and a Ferrari side by side, as well as an Alpine. The Ferrari hits the outside wall, the wall I've warned about in the qualifying session. Hopefully there's no damage for whichever Ferrari that is. I believe that was Buffles Fontaine. But overall, it's a very clean getaway from every driver here. We do have a ghosted car of Keegan. I know it's Temp. I thought it was a Mercedes at first. But either way, we have the ghosted car of Temp in the session, as was almost whacks the outside wall of this turn 3. Everyone has to be careful here for the start of the race because, you know, you don't want to absolutely bin it on the start, especially in a 26 lap race around, well, the Azerbaijan streets, especially in the castle section. Now, will anyone bottle it at the moment? That's definitely a warning for Moaz because that was an obvious corner cut there. As we have Chris, who does it cleanly. Everyone else behind currently doing it very cleanly. Oh, what a good camera angle that is for the broadcast cam. But overall, no one really gaining positions, I believe. Oh no, we have Buffalo Fontaine who gained 2 positions. Welash lost 2. And Striking Chief who gained 1. Welash though, he's in the wall. He's backwards. He's in the wall. I wonder what's happened to him there. Did he have contact, maybe? I'm not too sure, but I don't think he has a wing anymore. Let's quickly check this out now. No, he does not have a wing. Welash, after having a terrible start, having an even worse start than before. But, hey, you know what? He'll probably come back later this race. Chris doing off 147.5 as an opening lap. Not a bad opening lap, if I were to say. myself, as we have Wizards and John Harness, the two drivers fighting out for the championship, already fighting it out on track. As, yep, top 5 on mediums. Bosfeld and Vostar on hards. Dented on softs. Keegan and Temp on mediums. And, well, what else are we going to put on? Well, actually going to put on mediums. So this will be an interesting race to see, especially if there's going to be a safety car later on in the race. Safety car will help out Welash a lot and will save him. But for now, Welash just has to just drive, I guess. Try and catch up via pure pace alone. And see where that gets him. But yeah, Temp will not get any points. I've just remembered, yeah, he retired on track in qualifying and left. So yeah, whatever issue he has, well, is the issue that's gonna not score points today. As may I remind you guys, points are not counted to ghosted cars, as I've just noticed something here. Okay. That's fine. Now we can go back to watching. Yeah, points are not counted for ghosted cars, especially cars that are not in the session at the start, or for most of the race, or even half the race. If you're a ghosted car, and you're not even in the race for at least half of it, you're not getting points. But, either way, Chris having a comfortable lead right now on to Maz, but the first ERS zone is coming. Will Chris just dump ERS just so he can gain over a second? No, he will not. So, Maz is going to get the benefit of DRS. Windsor's going to get the benefit of DRS. John Hunnis, though, is a bit too far back to even capture it. So is Striking Chief. Bosfeld as well. Buffalo's Fontaine, though, is getting some lovely drag reduction from his teammate. And Keegan as well, getting some DRS from Dented. But other than that, the field has gapped themselves quite nicely. Spaced themselves nicely. I did not mean to press that button. But Keegan and Dented's getting a poor run of form out of these corners, and Keegan's going down the inside of the chicane, and he makes it stick, but oh, Dented tries to keep it in the inside, but there wasn't really enough space for him. The move was already done, Dented, as far as I know. As Keegan accidentally puts it in neutral. That was a bit unfortunate there. No harm, no foul. That was, in my opinion, a racing incident. Dented tried to keep his nose stuck in there, but he wasn't in there enough to be warranted any racing space. So, that is a bit unfortunate. But here we go. We're going to see maybe a bit of strategic plays, or just outright fighting already into this turn 1 area in this next DRS zone right here, right now. As Moaz is less than half a second behind Chris. That is more than close enough to benefit from DRS. As well, Moaz is kind of boosting himself with DRS to try and gain any more speed onto Chris. But Winzard's getting fast lap of the race so far with the DRS. But Chris goes wide. Will Moaz go down the inside? Moaz does go try and down the inside here. Will he try and get the position? There's enough space left for both of them. Will he get a better exit? I believe there was a tag from Winzard's at the back. But Winzard's now is going to try and look for a move onto Chris. And they both have done it. But will Winzard's go for the lead at the moment into turn 3? No, he will not. He decides to think better of it. Breaks early. Was lagging a bit. But Chris has just lost 2 positions from 1 mistake. That's very unfortunate. He didn't have DRS to defend from Winzard's as well, as Winzard had DRS from being behind Moaz. But that's also invited John Harness back into the DRS of the top 3. So what is going to happen down into turn 1? Will there be more moves happening? Will there be more chaos? I'm not too sure. What I'm sure of is I'm yawning again, and I'm hopefully not going to fall asleep. I believe I've had enough sleep, even though it's been a rough night for me last night, because, well, I've had no power, it's been really hot. So, yeah, I just wouldn't be comfortable to fall asleep. It is a bit cold in my room, and I've dropped a pen. So that is obviously a very good start to being tired, especially at the start of the race. We have 23 laps left to go, 22-ish. I'm not too sure, but Winzard's on the back of Moaz. He's going to be side by side, even before the DRS zone. So Winzard's maybe going for the move here? Yeah, he is. As I'm pressing the wrong buttons. But Wizards has used all of his ERS. But he does break early into turn 1. Is that to defend or throw off was? I'm not too sure, but he's going to have to, if he wants to keep any sort of lead here, he's going to have to absolutely send his battery. But that's what he's not going to do. Waz, on the other hand, Waz is just going to stick behind. He's going to play it safe. He's going to save ERS, and I have hiccups. As, oh my god. Waz has hit the wall. He's lost 2 positions. This is so chaotic. I've got hiccups. As we have Striking Chief who's spun. This is not ideal. And Bosfeld's pitted. For whatever reason. Oh my god, these hiccups are bad. But hey, this gives Welash a chance to catch up. Chris is out of DRS from Welash. Welash wins odds. But he's trying to get back into it. I'm holding my breath, well, trying to hold my breath, so I reduce hiccups. I hear a wall tap behind. I believe that was John Hunnis hitting the wall. Chris has managed to get into the DRS of Wizards. Unfortunately for Wizards, because Wizards has no battery. John Hunnis just trailing behind Chris. He's happy in his 3rd place position, but has gone into the pits. Was that him that hit the wall then? It is, because he's changing the front wing. Was going for another set of mediums. So he's going to go probably medium softs. Finish this race with softs. Very unfortunate mistake from him, but hey, it happens. You do lose focus in the left-right hander. And, you know, you touch the wall sometimes. And it's not great. It's not ideal. Either way. Hopefully the hiccups don't come back. I wonder if there's like some cheat sheet to get rid of yawns. But Wizards is trying his hardest here in this middle sector to just get out of the DRS of Chris. But Chris isn't taking it. Chris has all the battery in the world for it to gain on, well, to use onto Wizards. As well, Wizards doesn't have that much battery to play with compared to Chris. He has half the battery of Chris's. But hey, John Harness though, on the other hand. John Harness has heaps more battery than both Chris and Wizards combined. There's also something to mention. Mars Pitting has promoted Buffles Fontaine into 4th place. But Buffles Fontaine, as I said, that has hit the wall, and hopefully that didn't do any damage to his wing. Keegan just trailing behind there, very close, but not close enough for any sort of DRS. Only 2 seconds. As Chris... Did I say Keegan when I said... When I was talking about... Wait, did I say Chris when I was talking about Keegan? I don't know. But DRS is not enough for Chris to catch up to Wizards at the moment. It's very hard to decipher if Wizards is running a low downforce setup or a high downforce setup, considering he's gapping people in both the straights and the corners. As yep, Buffles Fontaine into the pits on the hard tires, dented as well, but on the soft tires. This is the moment for soft tires to pit for hards, but Buffles Fontaine isn't pitting for hards. Another set of hards. He can't. He is changing his wing. And that is because of that wall tap we observed earlier. So, Buffles Fontaine onto medium tires. He gets jumped by Dented because he changed the wing. Well, what am I watching here? Bosfeld and Striking Chief side by side. And Dented sticking his nose in as well, which pushes Bosfeld into the wall at the exit of turn 2. Bit of chaos happening here. And Striking Chief has done a bit of a spin here. Or he got sent into the wall by Dented as well. But that's very interesting. This will be a solid fight to watch between Bosfeld, Dented, Buffles Fontaine, and Striking Chief. As, yeah, I believe Striking Chief does have front wing damage because that car looks like a handful already, and that was only one corner. But Bosfeld's trying to... Was that Buffles Fontaine? Buffles Fontaine, sorry. Is trying to look at getting past Dented very quickly, although they are both on fresh medium tires. Actually, no, never mind. Dented's on hards, whereas Buffelsfontein is on fresh mediums. So, ideally for Buffelsfontein and Dented here, Buffelsfontein needs to get in front. Because Dented can be behind and chill with DRS. That's cool. And Buffelsfontein can make enough of a gap for DRS to not even be effective against him. But you know what, Buffelsfontein gonna, well, probably do something. My game has frozen. That is unfortunate. That's never happened before. Actually, no, it has, but not when I'm spectating. Interesting. As well. Hold on a second. We will probably be back in a second. I'm hoping my game catches up. I have muted the game just so you guys don't hear the cancer of a frozen engine tone at the moment. I believe my game has crashed though, which is not ideal. Not ideal in the slightest. Of course, there has to be issues. I mean, what's a human commentated stream without an issue? As my task manager is opened underneath F1, so I can't even do anything. Yep, game is crashed. Ego, I believe I see the ego dumper thing currently. Yep, but nothing's happening here. I'm pressing Alt F4. I'm pressing stuff. It is well and truly balked at the moment. As well, I'm trying to like do something, but unfortunately not. Will this work? Oh, I think. Hang on. Can I do this? No, I cannot. This is kind of awkward. It is not ideal at all. As, yeah, I unfortunately cannot get off the F1 game. It just won't close. Like, I'm pressing Alt Escape, I'm pressing Alt, yeah, whatever. You know? So I'm not sure what is happening. Yeah, this is not ideal. Not even that is working. Nothing is working. Well, this is great. that is completely great, huh? Yeah, I don't know how to get out of here. What if I quickly... Oh no, it's opened underneath F1 as well, so I can't even do that. Chat, how do I fix this? This is not ideal, man. This is not ideal in the slightest. I believe that calls for my PC to restart. There's not really anything I can do. As I'm doing pretty much everything I can, or everything I know of. But it is not doing anything. Well, that's interesting. Well then. I don't know if this will be the end of the stream. If I have to restart my computer. If it is, I don't think I will go live again. Actually, no, I may go live again because it will probably be, what, lap 15 when I come back? So, you know what? We'll see. But I will definitely be back. I'll quickly restart my computer. And yeah, I'll be back very, very quickly.